NBA season start not too long from now, a couple weeks. First preseason game. Well, I know for the Warriors is on Friday, but basically the season starting soon. Just wanted to drop a predictions video real quick. I actually made this list about a week, 2 weeks ago, and a lot has been changed in like 2 weeks, but more for the East than the West. So the list is pretty much still valid. I did change up some things. I really want to get more consistent with this YouTube stuff, but if I might really get a device that I could use on the daily, but I know you're not here. I know you're not here to hear about none of that, so I'm just jump right into it. Number one, I got the Warriors, man. I feel like this could be the last season, the last year that we see this team as it is currently constructed, because we want Draymond that wants the max, Wiggins that wants the max, or somewhere close to it, and Poole, who obviously I think deserves the max as well. So I think one of these guys are gonna have to leave the team, and I think it's gonna lead to somebody getting traded. So I feel like they're gonna have the most motivation to just have that one last run, because I truly do believe that they love Golden State, they want to be here, but they just can't. So I feel like the motivation just to continuity, I think that's what it's called, or whatever, just having the same roster. They're consistent. I think they're the most consistent team in the league at this point. So I just feel like they're going to be number one in the West, barring any like major injuries or anything like that. And number two, I got the Nuggets, and the case for them is pretty simple. They got the reigning MVP coming back. They got Murray, who could be a 20 to 25 point scorer. They got MPJ coming back. They might start off a little bit slow because Murray and MPJ haven't played basketball in about a year. So, but they do have the star power. They are scorers, and they are a balanced team. They got Aaron Gordon that plays defense, Casey Player that plays defense, Bruce Brown, who they brought in that plays defense, plus the star power of Murray and MPJ. I really like this team, and I like Bones too. In the playoffs, he was getting me upset, man. He was going against the Warriors. He's just a straight bucket getter. So I think he's a guy that could be in the sixth man of the year conversations as well. So they just have star power, man. They can score the ball, and they got defenders. Very balanced team all around. For the third seed, man, I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I really like Kawhi. Obviously, it's Kawhi, PG, Norman Powell, Reggie Jackson, John Wall, Zubac. They have a lot of guys. Rocco. They have a lot of guys who can score the ball and play defense. A whole lot of wings. My only reason why I'm docking them a little bit and not putting them at 2, even though I feel like they have a little bit more, I would say, offensive and defensive potential than the Nuggets do, is because they really don't have that many bigs, man. They have Zubac, and then their backup big, I think there's going to be Marcus Morris, I believe, who's going to be an undersized 5. So I really don't, so they have a whole lot of wings, but not a lot of big man depth. And then the West, it don't really matter, because you're not going against Embiid and Giannis every single night, but obviously not every single night, but whatever. But I just feel like that might be it's going to be a little bit difficult when they're going against the Jokic's and guys like that in the West, and guys like even Zion, who they have Kawhi to get dirty with Zion, but you still want a bigger guy on your roster. And I feel like that could be potentially something that they address, because they do have a whole lot of scorers. Like, for example, Norman Powell. I think maybe he might have to go, because somebody's going to be on the bench that's not going to want to be on the bench. So I think so they just have a little like inner team things that they probably need to work out. But other than that, solid team. Besides injuries, I could easily see them being a 2 or 3 seed, honestly. Okay, so this one I gotta tell y'all something, right? Up until about an hour or so making this video, I had the Suns in this spot. I had the Suns at number 4, even with the Jay Crowder trade request. Jay Crowder's a cool guy. He's a cool player. He plays some defense. He's tough. He brings a type of winning mentality, and he's a good shooter. I don't know his percentages and all that, but he's a good player. And the Suns would miss him, but I didn't think he's a role changer. They're going to end up trading for somebody who I think probably fits the team better anyway. So honestly, I had them still here at 4. And even though with the drama with the whole DeAndre Ayton stuff, you feel me, I factored that in, but I said, you know what, this team, they're not gonna let them, fall off like that. And then I got a notification from ESPN talking about how DeAndre Ayton hasn't talked to Monty Williams since Game 7 of the semifinals. And after that, I was like, you know what, I can't do this no more. That don't make no sense to me. I don't know how true that is or whatever it is, but I'm not putting it past him, because DeAndre Ayton wanted to leave the whole summer anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was actually true. If that is true, that's a complete problem. I think the Suns, I think it's just too much with the whole thing with their owner being racist and Jay Crowder leaving, and this DeAndre Ayton being unhappy. I just feel like it's just a lot of things to overcome. It's gonna be a lot. Like, I still trust. You're gonna see where I have them. It's gonna be 6. where I have them. So I don't think they're gonna fall off completely, like to where they're a playing team, but I think they're gonna fall out a little bit because there's just so many, like, probably guys that don't want to be there. It's just a bad type of vibe in the locker room and all that type of stuff. So it's gonna be a lot to overcome throughout the season. So I had to put the Pelicans here. I'm not even talking about the Pelicans. Oh my God. But yeah, the Pelicans, man, they're top to bottom. They're amazing, man. I kind of see them as like a Nuggets type of team, where I kind of see Zion as the Jokic, Ingram as the I guess you could say MPJ, and CJ as the Jamal Murray. They're a really balanced team from top to bottom. I like Valanciunas. He's a shooting big, and Zion just looks great, man. Everybody's been saying that on Twitter and everything. Zion looks amazing, and he's gonna have a great season. But yeah, man, I just see this team as a very balanced team, and I think they're a little bit slept on. They got some good depth too. At number 5, I had to put the Grizzlies here. The only thing stopping the Grizzlies from taking the Pelican spot to me is that Jaren Jackson's going to be not healthy again. But the Grizzlies, they're one of the best teams in basketball. They work as a team. They don't need all their top guys to compete. So I truly believe that they're still going to be, they're going to take a little bit of a step down, but not that much. I trust the Grizzlies. I trust y'all, all that. So at number 6, as I said, I have the Suns here. I'm not going to repeat everything that I said. I basically just explained this. But yeah, man, eventually the January 15th trade deadline, whatever it may be, they got to get DA out of there. DeAndre Ayton doesn't want to be there. They don't want DeAndre Ayton to be there. So don't even waste time. How is Chris Paul going to look? It's very questionable. So you don't even want to waste time like that. You got to get DA out of there, man. The Suns is a little bit of a mess right now, but I don't think they're a playing team, honestly. At number 7, man, I got the King returning to the playoffs, man. Obviously, they didn't have an amazing free agency, but they did have a decent one, and they are better than they were last year. And plus, I just don't see LeBron and AD missing the playoffs again. Obviously, health has to be on their side, but even just 60 games of LeBron and AD, I feel like that would be enough to be able to make the playoffs. And honestly, they could. To me, I wouldn't be surprised if they're higher than this, because it's LeBron. It's LeBron at the end of the day. It's AD who, at his best, is a top 5, top 7 player in this league. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are better than this. If they somehow get that Buddy Hield, Miles Turner trade to go down, that would be amazing. I think they could be even, competing with the Clippers and Nuggets and those type of guys. So they're honestly just one Russell Westbrook trade away from being, top tier. So, but for now, as the team is constructed right now, there's still a little bit of question marks about LeBron's age, AD's health, Russ's fit. I just can't have them being above some of the teams that I have here right now. So at number 8, this is a toss-up with me between the Timberwolves and the Mavericks. And I just looked at both teams from top to bottom. I was just like, I just don't think the Mavericks are better. I mean, obviously you have Luka, but I'm hearing they have Christian Wood coming off the bench, which I think is going to kill his morale. I'm not sure if anybody remembers this, but I think it was a part of the season where Christian Wood actually sat out from the team or sat out from a game because they were trying to bench him or something like that, and he got like a 1-game suspension, him and KPJ. I'm not sure if anybody remembers it, but he is a guy that has some maturity issues already, and a guy who I remember he posted on like Instagram and Twitter, hey, where should I sign after the Pistons? So I think he's a guy that has a little bit of immaturity, and that if you're not putting your trust in him, then he's not gonna be fully bought in. So I feel like the Mavs' biggest signing in the free agency is kind of almost a dud, because Christian Wood is a very good player. But if you're not putting your whole trust in him, you're only going to get a watered down version of him, because that's just who he is as a person, to be honest with you. So, and they did lose Jalen Brunson, so I couldn't put a team that has Anthony Edwards, even though I do not like the D'Lo Anthony Edwards fit. I can't put a team that has Anthony Edwards and Cat and Rudy Gobert outside of the playoffs. That's just me personally. But yeah, that's why I have the Mavericks here at number 9. Honestly, the Mavs got to do something, whether it's a signing, a big trade, or something like that. Because I don't know why they let Brunson just walk. I don't know if they could have matched it. I'm not really sure how that would have worked, because they do have to pay other guys on the roster. But I really wish that they kept Jalen Brunson and somehow got Christian Wood. But honestly, I just don't see the Mavs doing it again. How much carrying can Luka do, especially this year with the West being so stacked? I just doubt it, to be honest with you. So that's why I have the Mavs here at number 9. And at number 10, man, I'll put the Blazers here. This truly breaks my heart, man, because I don't know what Dame's doing, bro. Just leave, bro. Just leave. It makes no sense. It's not even being beneficial to the team at this point. You're going to be paying Dame $60 million. So even if you want to sign somebody, you can't do it. If you want to trade somebody, you don't really have the pieces for a trade. I mean, they kind of have like these little guys like Josh Hart, who it makes enough money to probably, trade for somebody on a bad contract. maybe a Julius Randle if he's not working out with the Knicks. But other than that, man, I just don't really see where the Trailblazers go from here. But they are good enough to at least compete for a playing spot, so I have to put them here. And man, as much as I felt bad for the Trailblazers and Dame and the rest of them, I feel even worse for the Kings, man. I feel like it's gonna be another year where they not only not make the playoffs, not make the play-in either. The roster is solid. It's solid. But when you're just solid in the year just like this, when everybody looks like they're trying to compete, hey man, it's just not gonna work out, man. The starting lineup of De'Aaron, I guess Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, whoever it may be, Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, and Domantas Sabonis. That's a cool team, but it's just not good enough to be better than the teams up here. And honestly, I think the Kings, after seeing the package that they got for Donovan Mitchell, I think they should start looking for some De'Aaron Fox trades because this is going absolutely nowhere. And I don't know where they go from here, to be honest with you, because nobody's gonna want to sign there. All you could really do is try to trade people, and they don't really have any like good trade pieces other than De'Aaron Fox. So I think it's just time to give Davion Mitchell the keys to some stuff like that. I'm not gonna curse, but yeah, man, I just don't like the Kings, honestly. At number 12, I put the Rockets here. I'm looking back on it, bro, and the Rockets were supposed to get Paolo, and they didn't end up getting Paolo. They ended up getting Jabari. I'm really thinking about it. This is probably the best pick for them. Jabari needs the ball in his hands. So you already have KPG, Jalen Green, and Josh Christopher, who they basically live with the ball in their hands. So it just wouldn't have been a good fit, honestly. Cultural-wise, it would have, because I think Paolo's more into like that kind of stylish type of fashion type of stuff, kind of stuff that Jalen Green's into. I don't know if I'm just kind of getting that vibe from him. But instead they got Jabari, who I think is a little bit more disciplined, better at defense, plays more off the ball. So I think they're building towards something. They're definitely building towards something. I want to see if Sengun could be the center of the future, or maybe the power forward and Jabari plays a small forward. But we're gonna see. But to me, the Rockets should be bottom feeders. Obviously, they're low because they're not better than a lot of teams here, but they shouldn't be like winning 20 games or something stupid like that. They should be like, it could be a neck-and-neck race for the play-in, to be honest with you. They're not that far off from it. Then I got the Thunder here at number 13. Obviously, they lost Chet, which is a bit of a disappointment. But honestly, the Thunder, I know what they're thinking, man. They want that Chet Victor Wembanyama duo, but honestly, don't tank. Don't be giving Shea minutes restrictions and giving him fake injuries so he sits out games. Try to build that winning culture from now with the guys that you have now. Because one thing you don't want to do is start pissing off Shea and start realizing, so we're just trying to lose. And obviously not having Chet kind of gives you an excuse to lose. But I think that they should still play with some fight, still play their guys that they have, and actually, just try to start winning. They have some good draft picks, and Ousmane Deng, that Jalen Williams, and the other Jalen Williams. These are solid pieces. They're not going to be complete buns. They're still going to be bad, but they're not going to be buns. They should still just try to build that winning culture for when Chet comes and whoever they have in the draft next year. Maybe it's Wembanyama, whatever his name is, bro. Whether it's him or anybody else, they should start building that culture from now, because they've been losing for a while now, man. And when you're losing for that long, there's going to be a guy there named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who might get a little bit frustrated. That's the last thing that you want to do. So yeah, I got the Thunder here at number 13. And at number 14, man, I got the Spurs, man. I just want to say how proud I am of the Spurs of finally embracing a rebuild. They're going to finally be, terrible for, the first time in, 75 years. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but still, they've always been on the brink of something for a very long time now. And they're finally just saying, okay, let's just bring a bunch of young guys, trade DeJounte Murray. Let's just tank. That's what they're doing. They want Wembanyama. So, yeah, I mean, it's a cool team. I think Keldon Johnson is an underrated Most Improved Player of the Year candidate. If I'm talking about them, they're pretty good. They're going to be starting Josh Primo, who's 19 still, after being drafted last year, 2 years ago, whatever it may be. So, yeah, they're going to be a very young team. I think they're going to be a somewhat exciting team. Not that exciting because they're still the Spurs, but they're finally going to be bad. I think it's for the best. They need that high draft pick. So, yeah, I got them here at number 14. And then at number 15, the last team I got over here is the Jazz. I just think the Jazz are going to be very dysfunctional this season, not in a bad way. It kind of in a bad way. I think there's a bunch of guys that's going to be looking for their own shot. They're not going to have any resemblance of a team at all. I think Colin Sexton's going to put up almost 20 shots a game. I think Larry Marketing going to get his shots up. Malik Bleasley going to get his shots up. Everybody's just trying to go get shots, playing for that contract, trying to get the hell out of the Jazz, because I guarantee you, nobody on that roster want to be on that roster. They want to be traded, get their trade value higher. And this is kind of just like a dead zone. This is where this year doesn't matter in this at all. They're just playing for draft picks. So I think they're gonna easily be the worst team possibly in the league, because it's just gonna be a bunch of guys. Like, they're gonna be wearing the same jerseys, and that's as far as it goes for this team. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Long video. Don't really need an outro later. Thank you for watching.